let's go. Is there really no music again? I'm gonna have to play my own music if there's no music. Dirt Finder. Okay. I got a frankly ridiculous situation in my hands. You see, some of the local children have been coming down with curry. Curry is an unsightly form of damage, and a few threshold folk have been putting it down to the condition of the recreational facilities. It's all nonsense, of course, but we could just humor them and give the whole thing a throughout a hose down. I'd be most grateful. $600. I think that isn't. There actually isn't any music in this game. What? Even though, yeah, they do have the audio slider for the music. Yeah, like they have. Wait, that's right there, music. But I guess that's just the aim. I mean, that is so weird. What? This game doesn't have music. Spent the whole budget on water sounds. Think we can afford a licensing? What do you think this is? No, fucking spent the whole budget on just water sounds. Come on, man, we made a game about power washing. You really think we could afford a license of music? Jesus. It's a game about power washing. What do you think? Well, then I gotta play my own music. Monka Shake. We rarely ever play music. Oh, nice. This juice is nice and cold. I gotta be my own DJ. Alright, let me boot up the Twitch soundtrack. Although that's always scary, because every time I do that, everything just becomes louder for some reason. Please don't crash my computer. Monka? Monka Shake? It's booting up? It's booting up? The soundtrack is booting up? Oh, champ. Hold, everyone, hold. The music, the sound just disappeared. This is what I was scared of. Why does it do this? Oh my god. Hold on a second. Hello? Yeah, you can still hear me. Cheeseburger, do something. Fix it, cheeseburger. Hello? Okay, you can still hear me. All available representations are currently assisting our customers. Please stay on the line. Your call is important to us. Please, press 1 or 2 if you would like to participate in the satisfaction survey after your call has ended. Hello, yeah, you can still hear me. Okay, hold on. Hold, I'm booting it up again. Let's see if we can hear it. Yep, it works. Why does it do that every time, though? Wait, can you try a sound effect or something? Nice! Oh, thank you. Okay, that... I could hear it and you can hear it too, so that's good. So that works.
Denji, お前も好きだったろ。
何のつもりだ。
Is he louder? I don't think so. I don't fucking know. He felt louder, but I don't think he is. Anyways, now it's booted up. What do we want to listen to? Usually we listen to stream synth. This one is called Danish folk music. What? That's what you want to listen to? I don't think the Twitch soundtrack has that. Listen to Danish folk music while power washing. This one is called Rainy Days. Let's hear it. The song is a minute long. Yeah, this is gonna put us to sleep. What about peaceful playthrough? Wait, is this? What? This is also just gonna put us to sleep. Yeah, it is nice, but I don't know. Yeah, it's like too chill. No. What about 5,000 RPM? How about that? How about that for change? Oh god. No, this is too intense for power washing. Club DJ. Power washing in the club. I'm scared to do anything because I feel like it's gonna go crazy any minute. Or is it just gonna stay like this? I don't know. I mean, it's called 5,000 RPM, this playlist. I don't know. I don't trust it, man. We'll find out. Oh my god. Turn on the subwoofer. Fucking all the shelves that I have on the wall are just gonna collapse. They're just gonna fall down from the wall. All my shelves. The whole room's gonna start shaking. I mean, this is pretty chill considering this is called 5,000 RPM. That's what I expected. Yeah, this isn't too bad. Pretty good, actually. We could keep this on as long as the other songs in this playlist are fine. Mind your subwoofers though. That deep bass though. Yeah, just don't turn on the bass boosted setting in your headphones and you'll be fine. Wait, what? How? What color is this trash can supposed to be? What is main looking trash can? That's a fancy trash can. Yeah, what the hell? Why it changes like color when I shoot it? What the hell? What? That's a weird trash can. Why do I have a ladder? Oh god, it's gonna change song. Monka W. What the hell? This is way more chill than I expected it to be. The music. Yeah, I also have to, oh my god, I also have to get this too, right? Oh, fine. I don't know, man. I kind of miss my streams since. I could change it back to that. Oh my god, it becomes so shiny. Holy fuck. How has the weather not cleared all of this, you know? Like when it's raining, how has that not cleaned up this whole playground? Does it never rain here? It feels like Need for Speed music. Feels like music you hear in the menu in Need for Speed. Yeah. Exactly. You see like a car drifting in the menu of Need for Speed, and then this is playing in the background. Should we try a different one? What else is there? Try the Whoop Whoop playlist. Whoop Whoop. Whoop Whoop Monka W. Yeah, hold on. The song just ended. Let's try Whoop Whoop. This is the Whoop Whoop playlist. This doesn't sound very Whoop Whoop. What the fuck is this? Oh, I can crawl through. That was a Whoop Whoop. Yeah, that was a tiny bit of Whoop Whoop. I don't know, it wasn't as aggressive as I thought it was gonna be the Whoop Whoop. Oh, here it comes, the big whoop whoop. Power washing on the beat drop. What the hell? No, that would be a sight to behold. What the fuck, man? Yeah, you just see a guy walking around power washing the playground. Then he just has a boombox on the bench, just fucking blasting this. What an interesting guy that would be. What an interesting man. How long is this? Oh, it's just 3 minutes. I feel like we've listening to this for like 5 minutes already. Is this clean? I can't tell. I think I have my dirt vision. Oh, that takes the rope too, hey. That was that song. What is this? This doesn't sound like a whoop whoop song, but I mean, it's just starting. Where is it gonna go from here? Oh my Monka W. What a song to power wash to. Oh shit, the beat drop. Alright, enough of that. That's this one. Enough of the whoop whoop. Go back. Go back to what we normally listen to. The stream synth. Playlist where we found the intro song from. Jesus Christ, man. How is it so dirty in here? What the hell happened? Thank you. What? Oh. Oh my god, that is gonna be a pain to clean that. Jesus. Dual sense is low. Signature Leo stream. Ching-ka-ching. indeed. We went back to the usual the usual playlist. The stream synth playlist. Can you even hear it? It sounds quiet. Sounds quiet compared to the PowerWash. Ah, yeah, you can hear it. Okay, that's good. That's good. Not too quiet. The PowerWash is louder though. Ah, yeah, it is. I had a feeling. Is this damn loud for me either? Just a little bit. Interesting. I guess it might be fine. It might be okay then the volume where it's at. Wait, is this whole thing clean now? Oh, it feels classy, shit, man. There's some classical music, will you? There's some classical jams. So, PlayStation also, they uploaded the trailer for another type of game like this kind of. I think it was called Hotel Renovator. And it's basically just like House Flipper, but just only focused on renovating a hotel. House Flipper, but only hotels. Yep, pretty much. Hotel Renovator. I believe that's what it's called. House Flipper, but only focused on hotels. And then you get to also renovate your own hotel. And run that. That one didn't have a release date though. Just later this year. Maybe. Perhaps. Who knows? We'll see if we feel like it. Wait, it has a release date on Steam? Pog, what? What is the release date on Steam? It's already 20% off, but it's not even out yet. What the fuck, man? Already on sale? Feels weird, man. Why not just make that the original price then? March 7th. Oh, so it's next month. Wonder if it's if that's the same release date then as console. That'd be nice. Then we can renovate some hotels next month. The pre-purchase sale would end when the game releases. Pre-purchase sale. Wait, pre-order now and get the Palace furniture set, including 32 unique items. Pogzilla. Oh my god, sign me up. I need those 32 unique items. What is it? Like just a bungee, like a unique vase or something? A unique poster? A unique lamp. Oh wait, that reminds me. Speaking of the legendary house flipper, didn't a sequel to that get announced? Like a long time ago or something? Man, this fucking pipe ping system. It's gonna be so annoying to clean. There's a House Flipper 2 in Steam with a Q3 2023 release date. One Q3? The third quarter of 2023? House Flipper 2 introduced new mechanics and rebounds from the original game. The good old hammer, the trusty paint roller, and the sturdy mop. All the way to return. The new visuals make a fix uppers look crisp as ever before. Never before. New mechanics. I wonder what new mechanics. Yeah. What could they even add? They already have the sledgehammer. Best item in the game. Oh no, there's no Danish language support. Feels bad, man. No. How will I be able to play it now? I won't be able to find my... Yeah, what the fuck even is that? What is sledgehammer even in Danish, actually? Not sure. What, there is Dodge at Norwegian? Wait, how do they have Norwegian but not Danish? Norwegian and Danish is basically the same thing. How in the universe? Music is very intense. Of what's going on right now. You're not washing intensely enough. Gotta step it up. You know what? Yeah, I gotta bring out the other gun that we bought last time. For the stubborn dirt. There you go. And then the song ends. Oh my god. Yeah, come on, man. As soon as I pulled this out, the song just ends. Oh, so wait, hold on a second. I want to see if I can do something funny here. Let me try something. Now it looks like he's shooting it. Now it looks like Scooby's the one doing it. Exactly. Scooby, he's power washing with his gun. Oh, I got a message. Did you hear that the mayor's card is missing? The whole town's on the lookout for him in time for the festival. Won't have spring until he's put that hat on. A message from Harper. You can't see it. To be honest, if I had to wear that hat, I'll go missing. Oh. Thank you, Harper. Lead me to my power washing, though. No, leave Scooby to his power washing with his water gun. Holy shit, this upgraded gun is actually so much better. Damn right. Keep spraying. Keep spraying the water. Keep power washing, Scooby. We'll get this playground clean in no time. Oh my god. Holy shit. All the power washing. Oh my god. There's so many on the screen. Oh wait, now it doesn't work. There you go. Now it looks like he's power washing again. Good old Scooby. This is the new V2 Bombetta. Oh my god. That's true. That's amazing. That's true. Yeah. There's just a new V2 Bombetta right here. This is how it's done. Oh my. It's actually amazing how well that works. How well it lines up. Yeah, we're over here setting new trends. This is a new VTuber trend. Hashtag viral. Hashtag viral. Hashtag new trend. Hashtag don't miss out. So you don't want to miss out on this. Hashtag VTuber. Yeah, and then next time we play DBD, we'll have the we'll have Scooby as Dwight taking up like the whole main part of the screen, doing generators. I will put up the DBD bongo cat when we're doing generators in DBD. DBD bongo cat. Put that on. We're doing generators. What the hell is that? Is that a briefcase? The briefcase I lost and hit me. The briefcase Mother Nature took from me. I think that would actually be really funny. Yeah, I just put the briefcase emoji in 47's hand the whole time on the screen. Never forget, Scoopy salute, a briefcase. It now belongs to Mother Nature. Mother Nature took the briefcase from us. Exclamation mark briefcase. We have large, this many briefcases. Oh, it's just a command. A memorial command. We won't ever forget the briefcase. Never forget what they took from us. Never forget what they took from us. The briefcase. With my sniper in it. Jesus Christ, man. How does this shit get so dirty? And how does the rain not clean it? Oh, I already cleaned that side. Oh. Oh my god, the fucking side, of course, as well. gotta clean every single inch. No dirt left behind. unclean. How is it not clean? How is this climbing wall not clean? Oh, it's because of this. There you go. But also, hold on a second. How does this work in this game? How does this work in general? The cleaning liquids, does it just make it easier? This is all wood. Should I try it? If you can even see it for the giant Scooby. Wait, so yeah, this is all wood. How much is it? It's pretty cheap, isn't it? $10, yeah. Oh wait, is that what this says? Is that what the equivalent is? When you want to min-max your cleaning efficiency on different surfaces? Okay. Yeah, it's just like a Monster Hunter when you get really into it and you just want to min-max everything, have a different load up, eat different for each different monster and everything. But yeah, you have to use the right liquid for the right things. Yeah, so what, you gotta like constantly swap it around. Let's switch it around. Yeah, okay. yeah, okay. I don't really think I need that right now. I don't really think it's that important right now. Unnecessary right now. Quick, use the SOS player. Use the SOS PowerWash. Fucking Devil Jiho arrived. Welcome W. No more fucking around. Devil Jiho has arrived. Good old Devil Jiho, man. Devil Jiho. I still remember that one moment in Monster Hunter. Just casually hunting another monster. Devil Jiho shows up out of nowhere. He casually body slams the monster that I was fighting. And then he just leaves. It's like, oh, okay. Thanks, Devil Jiho, I guess. It's just so funny. He shows up just to body slam the one monster and then leaves. Steve Devil Jiho, man. Yep. Just Devil Jiho things. He just leaves. Oh man. Giga chat. Giga Devil Jiho. That's like something I'll always remember from Monster Hunter World. That moment. It's just so fucking goofy. Good old Monster Hunter. Ching. Oh, yeah, so it's still there. Oh, there you go, now it's counted. Oh my god, this won't go away. Holy shit. How is the ceiling so fucked up? What even is that? Thank God. Thank God. That counted at all. What am I walking on? Oh, it's another bench here. %36 clean, huh? Still a lot to go. Where is this bench still dirty? Oh. Vanilla fancy trash can. I just spray the inside of the trash can too. I'm just gonna fill it with water. How am I supposed to clean the backside? Excuse me. Jeff. Howdy, dirt fighter. Put everything at home. My golf buggy's solid like you wouldn't believe it. What? No, I have to finish this parking thing. Oh no, it's Calvin again. Doug gave your details to a colleague who needs a hand with new place in the suburbs. It's the old theater place? Wait. So hope you don't get spooked easily. Wait, what? A spooky place? Clean the golf cart. What about the spooky place this guy was talking about? What the hell? This music. This song in particular actually sounds like something that would be in this game. Are these not clean? No, the stools aren't clean. There you go. Hey, the blue one's clean now. The blue circle. The yellow circle. Can I get on the slide? Oh, I can. For some reason it's not slippery. Even though I've been fucking spraying it with water. Exactly, damn right. Blob DJ. We're having a party over here. While power washing. Then we're almost halfway through the playground. Fuck. Oh my god, what is this still missing? It's probably on the outside. Ah, yeah. Maybe. Same with this one. This one has such tiny dirt left. What the fuck? That was a car alarm. I don't think they've updated this playlist since we last listened to it, because I recognize all these songs. They were still here last time we listened to this playlist, which... Fuck, I don't know. When was the last time we did this? You listen to music on stream? From the Twitch soundtrack? I have no idea when that last was. Wait, I wonder if you play this co-op with someone, can you just spray down your friend? Spray down your friend with horn. Wait, the floor didn't clean over here, did it? No, it did. This floor is not clean. How is it not clean? There you go. All of them? Maybe? No, this one. There you go. Ching, 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 $1, $1, $1. Nice. Well, this is still, yeah, it still won't make it dirty on the outside. Hold on, let's crank it up a bit. Just a bit. There we go. Oh god. Monk shake. Almost died. Saved by this. Don't have the proper safety equipment for that. This is so satisfying. You don't even know you're watching. Just the way that it should be. Yeah, it is really satisfying, especially with this chill music, this chill synth music. It's really nice and chill. You're watching power washing. We're power washing this playground. Well, rather Scooby he is. And right, it's really fun. Really fun and satisfying. But yeah, I don't have a watch time command. That does not exist around these parts. The only thing I have is a follow H command. Hey, there you go. How you love playing these cleaning simulators? Yeah, they're great. They're great to play from time to time. Always nice and relaxing to play. You play a good amount of these every now and then. We just started playing this recently. This one though. Because it came out this week for console. We also do a lawn mowing sim though, which is also great. You basically clean up alien crime scenes. Yep. Especially what you do in Mystery Cleanup Detail. I would love to play that game. I've only played the Christmas version of that game. But that game's great. I've seen a lot of people play it. That game is especially funny too. If you play with friends. Get some cleaning buddies together. It calms you. Yeah, it is. I don't know what it is, but it is oddly satisfying and calming playing those types of simulation games. Great. How the fuck am I supposed to clean this? I thought this was a pain to clean, but this, what the hell, man? This is even worse. Hey, look at how dirty this is. Look at how dirty it is compared to when it's clean after it's power washed. Can't really see it though. let me make this Scooby smaller though. There you go. What's this game called? It's it's just called PowerWash Simulator. There you go, you can see it on the screen. PowerWash Simulator. You can get it on Steam too. I think it's like... Actually, I don't know how much it is. Like $24 maybe? I don't know, something like that. You're definitely gonna play this? Hell yeah, I'd highly recommend it. Since yeah, you like recipe cleanup detail in other games like this, then highly recommend it. Sure, bro. Don't quote me on that though. I'm not quite sure about the price. I'm just guessing that it might be $24. It could be less. Oh, it is 24? Wow, I was actually right. It's just a wild guess. I want to say it's pricey, but I always get it when it's on sale. Because yeah, it is really nice. It's really nice and calm and chilled with me. I've cleaned this whole playhouse, right? I have, except from the roof. That. Can't spend money in games. Oh no. What's that? You're saving up your money? Who needs a ladder? You can just do parkour. Actual parkour. Oh, but I can't reach from here. Oh, can I buy the extended barrel really quick? What is the gun? What is the thing that I have? Urban XU2. Long extension, yes. Hell yeah, now we're power washing. Got the extended barrel. Oh, that is so much nicer. Oh, this is actually amazing now. Pog. What is the range in this thing now? I can reach all the way over there? Okay, can't reach the full though. Oh, I see. You want to save money? Visit your family in America? Gotcha. Yep. Need all the money back you can get for that. Because that could be quite expensive. Even with the long barrel attachment, can I still use this in close quarters? I think it's fine, right? Which is not as effective, I guess. Still have an entire dinosaur to clean up from this. God damn. Since I got the long barrel attachment now, can I just use this on the ground? Is it actually cleaning though? It is. Will this help? Yeah, it helps. Nice. Wait, it said something about vertical stairs not being clean. What vertical stairs? Oh, this up here. I need the ladder for that. Oh. One spray and it was already okay enough. Alright. Well, I'll take it. How am I supposed to clean? Oh, I guess. This is already clean though. It doesn't compete. Back to block DJing. Yeah, while power washing. What? Somewhat almost done. 65%. But also, how the hell are you supposed to use this? Not the ladder, but this thing. If you're up here, how are you supposed to get down? I thought you were supposed to slide down the middle, but well, you can't really that. What? Okay. Like, if you're a kid here, how are you supposed to get down from here? By using this? I thought you were supposed to slide down the middle. But, well, yeah, you can't do that without hitting this. Can you just climb down? Go back and forth on each side. That seems Monka W for a little kid. I would be scared of this thing if that was me. If I was a little kid. I'd be fucking terrified. How the hell? Kids don't know danger. Oh, gravity. Yeah, you got a point. They just fucking go for it, man. Whoop. And same with this. Like, what the hell is this, man? Why would you have this in a kid's playground? And also, what the hell happens when they get over here? Actually, wait, this is dangerous. So you can go across. But then what happens if you get here? There are no bars in this one. You're just supposed to fall? Where do you go from here? Where do you go from here when you get to the edge? You fall and break your arm or neck, obviously. I see, okay. Right, makes sense. That's the intended way for this? Intended way for this playground? You're meant to go underneath. Oh, not on top like I was? Oh, so like this? Yeah. Oh, and then you're supposed to like up. What the fuck? So when you get to the end here, you're supposed to like land on this here. This. And then go down. Holy shit, man. What happens if you miss? Okay, rip my legs, I guess. You break your leg or arm. Oh, neck. If you're really lucky, I guess. What the hell, man? These kids' playground contraptions are fucking scary. Maybe that's why I never broke anything as a kid. Cause I never tried any of this. Especially back in the day. Really? Were they even more sketchy back in the day? I remember before I got done with school, they upgraded the playground. And they got like a really strange slide. That's pretty safe, you think. You think? I don't know about that one. Cause yeah, the slide that they got upgraded at my school that I used to go to, it wasn't like this. I mean, they used to have this as a slide, you know, the average one, normal looking one like that. But they upgraded it to one where it's just two iron bars on the side, like an iron bar on this side going all the way down, and an iron bar on this side going all the way down, and nothing in the middle. That's what they upgraded the slide to. And I'm just like, how the fuck? How are you supposed to slide down that? Indeed. Like, does that make sense? Can you picture that in your head? Does that make sense? I don't even know. Can I like find a picture of it? Don't think you can find a picture of it. No, I can't find a picture of. Yeah, either way. Basically, I had no idea how that slide was supposed to work, and it looked dangerous as all hell. Because, yeah, there was nothing in the middle. It was just one iron bar going down on that side, and one iron bar on the other side going down. I don't know how that was supposed to function as a slide. Wait, this is not what I was cleaning, was it? I guess it was. No, I still stuff up there. There we go. There you go. Maybe that's why I never broke anything as a kid. Because I never tried any of these dangerous kids contraptions. It was too Monka W. Oh my god, I cannot see the dirt on this yellow thing. It blends in. So in the summer you'd burn your skin off. That is true. I encountered a few of those. Back when I was a kid. Oh, at least, well, they weren't all completely made out of metal. It was only the slide that was made out of metal, and yeah, holy shit. If you touched that or went on it, it's like, holy fuck, man. Goodbye, skin. Hello, 3rd-degree burn. It's insane how hot those things got. I think I cleaned them all now, right? All the rooftops? Oh, that's the thing. Well, while I'm up here. Oh god. It's so slippery, Monka W. Also, wait, we got a message, I think, didn't we? No wonder why they use this fancy pants shock absorbing rubber compound for the playground flooring and not good old fashioned trails. Oh, I don't know what that is. It also said there was new equipment for sale. Nice. I think the whole playhouse is clean now. Oh wait, no, there's... Bloop, bloop. I'm missing this side over here. Put on the long barrel attachment. Unequipped. Nice. Now I think the whole playhouse, or whatever the thing is done. Unless I missed a tiny spot somewhere, which I hope I didn't. Yeah, it should be all good now. Time to go half the playground. You have a semi-related clip? Wait, what the hell? Oh. Wonder what that could be. Hold on a second. Stop the music. How do I stop? Here it is. I see it. What is this semi-related clip? Oh no. Is it related to power washing or the playground talk? Oh wow, 69% clean. Wow, what a perfect time to take a break. Let's. Wait, is this? Oh, this is HD. What the fuck am I looking at?
They're all fine. Everyone's okay.
Everybody's okay.
We are back. Carson, that's the sound of people's bodies thumping against what's called the giant slide in Michigan, Carson.
And similar clips of people being
Stop.
flung
Stop lowering the quality.
into the air and sent crashing went viral, of course, prompting officials to temporarily close that giant slide. But after a few adjustments to make sure that people don't go down quite as fast, it's set to reopen this Friday.
What are they in? Are they in just a bag? What the fuck? How is this? How did this get approved?
A tutorial by a staff. Take a look at the tutorial.
Oh, what the fuck? That person! Wait, what the hell was happening to that person? Monka shake. This person right here. Rip my back, man.
What? That slide wrong, according to a tutorial by
Look at this person.
Take a look at the
Whoop.
tutorial.
Whoop. What the hell?
Your whole body.
How'd you not break every bone in your body with that?
Wait for, if you have any other riders, wait for the ranger to say go ahead, and then scooch on, but hold on tight. Biggest thing, you just gotta lean forward and stay leaning forward and hold on tight.
What if you don't lean forward?
Okay.
What if you don't lean forward?
That's the tutorial. Lean forward.
And they were paying $1 a ride to go.
But here's the thing.
Wait, but he's not bouncing like crazy.
When you're scared for your life.
Because he's heavier than the kid.
Remember to lean
It
forward.
looked like it was right out of Action Park
I grew up near
in Jersey.
every ride.
What the? This person? How are they alive?
It's like a worker wiped that thing down with Pledge.
Yeah. Well, and the first step is get into the body bag.
Yeah.
The body bag might as well be. Oh, that was it.
Thanks for watching.
What the fuck? What is that? I mean, they might as well make it a body bag. It's literally just a bag. What? How did this get approved? This is approved for an adult, not a kid. Because he doesn't go flying like crazy. He's heavier than the kid. But also, yeah.
According to a tutorial.
This person right there. What the fuck? Monka W. Rip my back, man. What? Rip my spine. Rip everything. Are they still alive, that person? That is insanity. Who approved that? Who was just like, ah, fine, we'll just put him in a bag. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. I wonder what happens if you ask him, so... You're telling me to lean forward, but... It's fine, just lean forward. But, hey, sir, what happens if I don't lean forward? They just give you a death stare or something. Just don't ask that question ever again. And just lean forward. Then you break your back. Or your neck. Or everything else in your body. Yeah, because what the fuck, man? That did not look pleasant whatsoever. Who the hell? That is insane. That is insane, man. How does something like that exist? Well, I would never touch that. I would never go near that ride. The ride of hell. Was that in metal too? That's what it was made up, the ride? Imagine on a hot summer day and you put yourself in that bag and then you slide down it while the metals are mega hot. It's just gonna melt your back. It's just gonna put your back on fire. Monka W. Ignite the bag while you're sliding down. Literally the ride of hell. Oh my god. That's what they should name it to. Holy shit. Oh my god, yeah, then the bag just heats up when you're sliding down. And then when you're at the bottom, you come out of the bag, and you just have like first degree burns all over your legs. What the hell, man? How do they get how do they give the thumbs up for that? And while they're making it, how do they not go like, you know what? Maybe this isn't such a good idea. You know, maybe people could hurt themselves with this. You know, maybe you should get this one back to the drawing board. No, what are you talking about? Just tell them to lean forward. You'll be fine. Just tell them to lean forward. You're fine. Don't worry about it. I'll be okay. What the hell? Oh, I can't spin these. Jesus Christ, man. As far as I know, there's no ride like that in Denmark, as far as I know. Anyways, 69% cleaned. Go clean up the rest of the park. Oh, playground or whatever. Put on the jams again. Back to power washing. Maybe that's what happened at this playground. That's what all the dirt is. Oh, holy shit. Monk W. Oh. Yeah, okay, I didn't think about that one. Oh. Well, that would explain a lot. What, you think this is dirt? No, it's human ashes. Did you hear? Did you hear about the news? Monk W. Behavior updated the rules, so just lean forward. Town will reopen. I'm sure nothing bad will happen again. I'm sure we won't have another similar disaster or incident like this one again, no. We'll be fine now. Update the rules, just lean forward? It'll be smooth sailing from now on. Oh, just lean forward. What the fuck, man? That's messed up. Oh, just lean forward, you'll be fine. Oh, just lean forward. But back to Alien Gathering. Multi-purpose. Oh. Wait, I want to try. What happens if I use the stuff from this? How effective is it? Multi-purpose. How long does it last for, too? Wait, I can't even use it for this? Like the... Oh, yeah, no, I don't have that. I needed the dispenser attachment thing. Oh, this right here, soap nozzle? Oh. I can't even afford it. It's this one I need. This is for the gun that I have. Oh my god. Oh. Unlucky. Time to kill more Devil Geo so I can make one. Jesus. Yep, murder some more Devil Geos. My power washes I can afford the soap attachment. By the time I can afford it, I'm done with this. I'm done with this job. Holy fuck, this is so good. Oh, never mind. No, it's apparently all clean. This is so annoying. The fence. Like, but this is all clean down the side, so I don't have to worry about that, I guess. How long have we been on this one? We've been on this. Oh, Park Warden. Because it's cheap and just an absolute joy to pour. Admittedly, it is also prevalently to talk to the humans and ingest it. Swings and roundabouts. What? Huh? Okay. Whatever you say, Park Warden. How is the blue mat not clean yet? Jesus. There you go. Holy money back. Oh my god, it's Junior. Junior with the raid paw. Raiding all power washing work. Thanks, Junior. Appreciate the raid. How did the Dead Space go? Did you finish him? How is this not clean? Oh, that's fine. Is it all clean? It is. Nice. Oh my god, how the fuck is this so dirty underneath? Monka W. There you go. Now all we have left is the dinosaur and one bench, I believe. I think the bench. Leo, my good sir. Junior, my good sir. Yes. What is it? What is it, my good chap? Appreciate the raid, my good chap. How was the stream? How was the Dead Space? Now time for the big one. That dinosaur. Hey, it was good, good sir. Hey, I'm glad to hear. Glad to hear it was good. My good sir. Oh, you managed that space? Nice. Oh, I didn't buck out this time. How'd you like it? That space. fantastic. I know, right? It's great. It's really good. I only played the OG. I haven't even played the remake yet. Have to hear you liked it. You gonna go and do the sequel now? Or are you gonna wait with that? Also, Pog, you're on part 3 now, chapter 2, with Haruka. And Yakuza 5. Nice. Making good progress with that too. Yep. So you gotta be ready for when Inshin comes out. Yakuza until Hogwarts comes out. Yeah, that's next week, right? I really would like to play that game too. But no. Got way too many other games we gotta play. You want to play Yakuza 6 after Hogwarts? What about 5? You don't wanna finish 5? Oh, you're really close to the end of 5. Come on, waiting to play Hogwarts. Well, cause God, if I were to play that here when it comes out, oh my god, we're not gonna get anything else done for like another solid month. Because that's a really long game. I could easily get super immersed into that. If we played Cyberpunk and Delaying WoW. But yeah, I want to get some of this stuff done first before we play Hogwarts. Like, Lust Judgment, Midnight Suns, Ghostwire. But yeah, I want to get all that done before we go into another really, really, really long game. You should double think before you play it. Oh. Now you're having second thoughts about it. You're like, wait. Now you're like, oh wait, hold on a second. Yeah, he's right. It is probably a really long game. Yeah, and you still get Yakuza 6 to play. Yeah, that's another really long game as well, isn't it? Yakuza 6. But oh, Jesus Christ, you still got 15 to 20 hours left in 5? That's still so much. But I mean, you could, if you just play Yakuza 5 next week, then you'd probably be able to get it done. For Hogwarts. Clean the dinosaur. The hell, there's steps here? Wait, what? Completion is the shorter than the series. What? 6 is the shortest one? The completion? That. Well then, you'll probably be able to speed run through that one quickly. It's like 38 hours to finish. Holy fuck, man. Absolute insanity. Isn't it also because you can play like 5 different people in that game? 5 different characters. Yeah, 5. That's also just crazy. Fucking 5 characters. 5 main characters, I guess you could say. Insane. $130 hours. Oh my god. Is that what you're going for too? You're going to 100% of it? Mad, man. Hell no, not anytime soon. Sounds like the most sane answer, I guess. Sounds like the right decision. The right thing to do. Also gotta have time for other games. Other games. Clean the dinosaur. Didn't finish clearing up the playground death trap yet. Yeah, pretty much. We've almost cleaned us of its ashes, of its human ashes. We just have the dinosaur left. Look at it. Looking good as new. Almost as new. Need the dinosaur. Look at those spikes. I know they could kill someone. They could kill a child. They could hurt their head badly on that. Clean the dinosaur's belly. The Judgment series. Oh no, that sounds fun. That sounds like a fun one to go 100% in. That means you're gonna play a lot of Mahjong. Fuck. Time to become a master at Mahjong. Oh my god, he's still so dirty on this side with the dinosaur. You gotta learn Mahjong first, eh? Alright, you got this. You'll learn quick. If I can learn Mahjong, well, somewhat have an idea what the hell's happening, then you'll be able to do it too. You got this. Then you also gotta learn shogi, that like Japanese chess. That I don't know how it works. We haven't really tried that. We've played Mahjong more. Holy shit, the dinosaur is clean. Exactly, Mahjong. Dinosaur is clean. Almost done. Holy shit. %1 left feels weird, man. Hey, man, you missed 1%. I'm gonna have to give you 4 stars. I'm sorry, man. No 5 stars. You did a really good job, but it's not 5 stars worth. You missed the spot, man. Fucking amateur. How? The other American ones, I have poker. Yeah, I don't even know how to play poker either. Gotta learn how to gamble. You'll become an expert gambler. By the time you've 100% less judgment. Or just judgment. Tower support strut. Oh my god. Tower trims. Oh. It was there for a second. Time to find these last 3 spots. Small bridge floor. Oh. Wow. Tower support strut. It has to be one of these, right? Oh, is it one up here? Oh, yeah, it's up here. Oh, it's right there. Tower trims. Super safe. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm the safest power washer there is. Just parkouring from roof to roof on the playground. Trying to find the last spot where I missed some dirt. Imagine seeing that. You're just out walking your dog or something in the park. And then you just see the power washing man jumping from roof to roof. This power washing gun. Yeah, he's 20 feet in the air jumping around. Trying to find the last spot where he missed some dirt. Without any safety equipment, of course. Can't afford that. Tower trims. What is that? What is tower trims? Tower roof. Tower support strut. Tower vertical strut. Wait, where did I... Where's my ladder again? You saw it? Oh shit, where? Where'd you see it? Point at it. Yellow. Was it yellow one? Oh. To my ladder. You're high. Oh my god. People trip. I mean, I'd believe it if you saw it here. I may have missed it because the dirt blends in so well for me on the yellow. Yeah. Tower trims. I haven't seen a single thing called tower trims. What is tower trims? What is that? Just stop blasting everywhere. Stop blasting my water everywhere. I will get it. So anyways, it started blasting. How low? Oh wait, I saw it. I actually saw it. It's somewhere here. There you go. It's this. Oh my god, there you go. The tiny bit of dirt. Yeah, we found it. We found it, everyone. We found it with our binoculars. Blast them. What you could hide from me? Silly dirt. Okay, we need one more. I really know what we're looking for. Two hours later. Where's this last piece of dirt? You cannot hide from me. I am determined. Oh no. Feels bad, man. Yeah, meanwhile, the fucking playground became dirty again. I was looking around. Come on, man. I gotta start all over. Who let the kids in? I wasn't done. Oh, it's this one right here. Look at that tiny piece of dirt right there. There it is. All culprit. Hold on, yeah, we gotta blast them. It's right there over the dot. Blast them, Scooby. There you go. This is music. It's perfect. Fuck yeah, it is done. How long did that take? Looks like, I don't know, 2-3 hours. It tells me how long it took? Oh shit. Well, hold on. Yeah, when you start the time lapse thing. Let's see it. I'm ready. Show me my hard work again. Oh my god, there we are. It's us. It's gonna show us hopping from roof to roof. Oh no, it didn't. Is it on the details? $600 for that. Yeah, man, that'd pay me. I don't think at least I don't see a timer. Super job on the playground. Dirt fine. Look at it now. Admit there may have been the odd flick of dirt there, here and there. And not just so many calls in this world. Too many, perhaps. Anyway, we've got those bleeding rivets off my back. Pathetic and nothing enough. Maybe it's a PC only thing. It doesn't tell me here on console. It's bad. Oh, look at that screenshot. The controller has been dying since we played Hitman. Well, I can check it like this, I think, at least get an idea how long that took. We started 2 hours ago with the game, so yeah, we've been on that one for like around 2 hours. Took us around 2 hours to clean. Jesus Christ, man. Clean the detached house. Or clean the golf cart. Yeah, damn right, now it's time to sleep. After that... God, this thing's so expensive. I'm not gonna get it. Holy shit, man. 2 hours to clean this, we did it. Park. Holy shit. Spray down the ball. Equip the long barrel. Wait, that's a good question. This thing, right? Is what you're talking about? Oh. No, you can't spin it. Why is this made out of metal? I guess it's because you can have better grip, but oh my god. Imagine slipping and scraping your knee against that. Ow. Exactly, so you gotta scrape all this skin off of your knees. Jesus Christ, man. This would be like if you while power washing, it'd be funny if it actually like spun around. That would make it such a disaster to clean. And get a concussion, you fall up and hit. And the thing hits you. Oh, yeah. Because it's still spinning and then bonk. Fucking metal bod to the face. Yep, seems safe, man. Oh yeah, because it's gonna keep spinning. Bonk, 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 bonk. On repeat until someone walks over and stops it. Trash can with more. Where did the ball go? What? These trees in the distance. Yeah, I was just about to say they're quite low quality. Pixel Ball. They are all made by Pixel Ball. Holy shit, man. Took so long. Yo, I scored the goal, Pog. Went for the bench. Wait, can I bring it up the dinosaur? No. Can it not go on the playground? Oh, there you go. Casper would be proud. Get it up the dinosaur. Oh my god. I don't think I can bring it up the dinosaur. Go. No, you didn't go up the dinosaur. Hey, we did it. Park. We brought it up the dinosaur. Good old Casper. Are we gonna return to our other business soon? Our Casper mowing business? God, I thought that was blood for a second. Monk. Oh. Go up the dinosaur, damn you. Yay. What? That's a trophy? Oh my god. Stato score. Oh my god, what? That's actually a thing in the game. Hey, take a picture of our moment when we got it up the dinosaur. Stato score. In the playground, roll the football up the Stato slide. Holy shit, what the hell? Wow, that's amazing. That's actually a trophy. We're actually doing that for fun. Messing around. Oh, nice. I actually got rewarded for it. Feels good, man. Where did the ball go now? That was so much. Oh, it's ready to trash can. It's ready to leave. It wants to go home. That was so much work too, though. Getting it up here. Look at how much it's shaking. Anyways, I think that might actually be all though for today's stream. It's already like 4 in the morning because this took so long to power wash this whole playground full of ashes.